Hey guys, welcome back for another episode of the 2-Minute Warning. I'm Blake Schowalter.
And I'm Beto, Vaca, Diez.
We've had an absolutely crazy weekend of NBA news, starting out with Kyrie Irving once again. Drama coming from him, man.
Yeah, of course. This time it's not necessarily Kyrie himself, as we've seen in times in the past, but rather the teams that he's being traded for. The Kyrie Irving trade was announced sometime earlier this week, Sunday, I think it was. Yep. It's out of the blue seemed that he wanted to trade, and obviously tons of teams come calling his name. He's had a very good stat line this season, averaging 27 points, 48.6% from field goal, and then his three-point percentage is 37.4%. So obviously a lot of teams are going to want to come for that, especially the Lakers. And obviously Kyrie does have history with LeBron James, really good history as they won a championship together in Cleveland, and that was the main priority target. But apparently the Nets owner just decided to block it.
Yeah, so rumors coming from the Nets is that the owner wanted him to go anywhere but the Lakers. It was cool, literally anywhere else but the Lakers, because that's where Kyrie wanted to go. Pretty petty from him. I kind of love it, not going to lie. But yeah, there was also some reports that they actually had a deal pretty much done with the Lakers, and last minute the Clippers come in and raise the value of the trade, and then as we know now, the Mavericks are the apparent trade winners of Kyrie Irving, putting a package together for him. But there is news right now saying that it is not official yet, so we'll see what happens with that. There are some reports that there's going to be a third team added to the trade. This video is being made on Monday, so if that report comes out before this video is made, sorry about that, but that's what we're hearing right now.
Yeah, just wild, especially if you look at the value of some of these trades. The Lakers offer up Russell Westbrook and 2 future first-round picks. That's just insane value right there. The Suns were willing to offer up Chris Paul, which is a story in and of itself.
That's nuts. I love Chris Paul, so I'm a little biased, but that's nuts to me.
Yeah,
how do you not take that?
Completely wild.
Yeah, but then also I don't like, on the Mavericks side real fast, giving up Spencer Dinwiddie. I love him as a player. Really good bench guy, great leader, really complimented Luka very well. Love watching him. So kind of a shame to see him going to the Nets, but that's some great value coming to the Nets and KD. It's going to be interesting what they do. You hear reports saying KD's disgruntled with Ben Simmons. So it's going to be interesting how the rest of the Nets season plays out. But again, just crazy news from Kyrie once again.
Yeah, interesting to see if this will affect KD going forward in his future with the Nets, as he already kind of did want to trade from them and kind of fell through before the season started. And so will he push for a trade now that Kyrie's gone, especially seeing as this team isn't necessarily the greatest all around? Of course, they have Ben Simmons, who occasionally can be great, but KD is really carrying this team. And if he wants to go somewhere else, maybe say the Suns or the Lakers, it'd be interesting to see him and what he does in the future.
Yeah, then lastly, I just want to add one more thing. It's just truly a shame to see what's happening to this Nets team. People are saying that they're basically definitely going to be NBA Finals contenders. I mean, and it's just really a shame to see how this is all falling apart.
Yeah, 100%. I was really hyped for this season for the Nets, but I guess not anymore that Kyrie's gone.
The next up, we have the Steph Curry injury. At first, it was said he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. Now it's reported he's going to be out indefinitely. Huge blow for the Warriors' playoff hopes, man.
Yeah, really sad. Obviously, Curry struggled with injuries this season. An elbow injury took him out of 2 games, an ankle injury out of 1, a shoulder injury earlier in December made him get out 11 games, and this hip injury that he's struggled with in the new year put him out 1 game. That didn't seem to affect the Warriors too much, but this is really going to take a toll on them. Out indefinitely with a partial ligament and membrane tear in his leg. It's just really sad to see what's going to happen, especially knowing that division is so close.
Yeah, man, as of right now, the Warriors are in the 8th seed. In the 9th and 10th spot, you have the Pelicans and the Jazz just 1 game behind. Going to be very interesting to see if the Warriors can pull this one through or at least get a play-in spot. But yeah, really bad news if you're a Warriors fan, man.
100%.
All right, next up, we got the NFL. And speaking of trade talks, where is Aaron Rodgers going to end up, man?
Yeah, I don't even know. Aaron Rodgers is kind of like a character, kind of like Kyrie, where he's always in the media for some kind of drama, whether it be ayahuasca tea or COVID-19 vaccines. This man is always in there for something. And just seeing how many things are coming out about him, whether it be him going to the Jets, him going to the San Francisco 49ers, or even, which is my personal favorite and probably the most popular option, is the Raiders, with Davante Adams going on Twitter saying he's house shopping and looking around for stuff for Aaron Rodgers. He's moving into his neighborhood. It's going to be very interesting to see if that does materialize and if he can really reconnect with his old wide receiver number 1, Davante.
Well, I have a source, and that source is me and my gut feeling. And I hear that Aaron Rodgers had another ayahuasca trip, and he envisioned himself still in green, that being the New York Jets. Great fit for him. You got Garrett Wilson there. Oh, my God. I mean, Garrett Wilson had a 1,000-yard season with 3 quarterbacks. I mean, he might put up 3,000 yards, Aaron Rodgers. I think it's a great fit for Aaron Rodgers. I think he'd look great in New York. If he gets New York a Super Bowl, greatest of all time. That's all. I'm just gonna leave it there.
Yeah, that's definitely something interesting to think about, especially with his implications of if he can win wherever he goes. I think more importantly is to look at if he stays. If he stays at the Packers, can they build something around him? Can they make all these rookies connect? Can they actually achieve what everyone has been hoping for the Packers to achieve since 2010 and in a Lombardi trophy? And so it'll be interesting to see if he stays, and if not, if he retires. I think that'd be great if he could just tie off his career like this. He's been such a consistent player for so long, and if anyone deserves to hang it up, it's him.
Yeah, I think he will retire a New York Jet next year. But next up, we got the Pro Bowl, and boy, did that absolutely stink. I mean, oh my God. I hardly even watched any of it. It was a total joke. And even in the NFL flag football game for the Pro Bowl, people are saying it's rigged. I mean, that ref was absolutely horrible. Peyton Manning furious on the sideline. But one good talking point about the Pro Bowl is Derek Carr put on an absolute show. But where is he going to end up this offseason?
I got no idea. Honestly, this is the trade situation for quarterbacks in the NFL right now is very, very tense. Obviously, with the retirement of Tom Brady, the Buccaneers definitely have a good shot for landing Derek Carr. Obviously, a quarterback who has a good game time experience, a decent record with the Raiders, and of course, he's just a good guy all around. And so seeing the Buccaneers need it, I think it'd be a great fit for him. Either that or the Tennessee Titans, who have been lacking a really good quarterback behind for so long who can genuinely throw the ball. And so it'll be crazy to see if he goes to the Titans or the Buccaneers. My favorite is the Buccaneers out of the two, though.
Yeah, and about that Tom Brady retirement, the thing I was just a jar of sand and a Photoshop job away from having like $100,000 in my pocket is mind-boggling to me. But more about these quarterbacks in this offseason, and more about Tom Brady is that the Raiders were pretty much sure that Tom Brady was not going to retire and then hopefully become a Raider in the offseason. But now that he's gone and Derek Carr, he's sure that he's gone, it's going to be interesting to see what the Raiders do with that quarterback vacancy. And also with Jimmy Garoppolo, I think he might be going to the Titans. That's my best spot for him. But there's also been talk about him going to the Jets. Derek Carr might even go to the Jets. Aaron Rodgers will hopefully be a Jet. But it's going to be interesting. A lot of quarterback spots seem to be filled and a lot of free agent quarterbacks. So there's going to be a lot of news to be covered this offseason. And it's going to be very entertaining stuff. And then also, you want to talk about Lamar Jackson a little bit? I mean, that news is crazy too.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, contract running up and potentially not renewing it with the Ravens. The Raiders could make a sweep for him. The Raiders could also make a sweep for Dan Jones. Lamar Jackson is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And he's proven that over and over again. The way he throws, the way he runs, how dynamic he is all around, how sharp he is. Any team could be well suited to have Lamar Jackson behind the center, but I think honestly the Raiders could use him more than anybody in the league right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you saying the Raiders with Lamar Jackson, him and Devontae Adams would be terrifying. Oh my God. Then last up, we have the UFC. Derrick Lewis taking a devastating loss to Vaca, man. Getting submitted like that really hurt to watch. I was really hoping big things from Derrick Lewis, man. So hoping for a knockout. Hopefully, he can get back in that title conversation. But I think right now the only avenue for him is to drop down a weight class, get in better shape, and then put those heavy hands to use against lighter guys, hopefully get some knockouts down there, and then maybe even get in the title conversation for light heavyweight. But right now, just really sad to see, man.
Yeah, 100%. Derrick Lewis, obviously a fan favorite for his antics, both in the cage and out of the cage. So obviously, there's going to be a lot of fanfare saying don't take Derrick Lewis out of the UFC, don't drop him in rankings. He will still get fights, whether it be at a lighter weight class or heavyweight. But it's just really tragic to see this downward spiral. Hopefully, he can find a way to rejuvenate himself, like at a lighter weight with his huge, heavy hands, or just get a phenomenal knockout and jump immediately back into title contention. It's just going to be really sad. It's really sad seeing him get submitted. Always really sad to see one of your favorite fighters take a loss. But just especially sad for Derrick Lewis.
Yeah, really bummed out about that. But on a happier note, we got UFC 284. Got a great headlining fight. Alexander Volkanovski versus Islam Makhachev. Going to be an absolute war of a fight. You got Islam, probably the greatest grappler in the entire UFC right now. And you got Alexander Volkanovski, who's just an absolute pit bull of a fighter. No quitting him. Great ground game as well. Great hands. It's going to be really interesting to watch that fight, man.
Yeah, number 1 pound for pound versus number 2 pound for pound. Alexander Volkanovski's coming off a phenomenal year in 2022 where he did not lose a single round in his championship fights, which is very hard to do considering that he fought the Korean Zombie, featherweight legend, and of course Max Holloway, who's in the conversation for greatest featherweight of all time. And so seeing what he did to these people, especially Max Holloway, who has phenomenal striking, he couldn't even hit him that night. And so if he can transfer this power, this no-quit attitude, the heart of the champion that he has, this pace into the 55 realm with proper bulking, as he's in great shape right now, it's going to be crazy to see what he can do against Islam, who is arguably the best fighter in UFC.
Yeah, another thing about his past opponents is that every single time I was just shocked about how he walked through his opponents. He looked invincible. He looked invincible. That is Alexander Volkanovski. But you know what? He wasn't really fighting that many grapplers, that is, except for Brian Ortega. And you got to remember, Brian Ortega did get him caught in a really tight guillotine. Of course, Alexander Volkanovski, as you know, had so much fight in him. He ended up getting out of that with his face pretty much bright purple. But against Islam Makhachev, who in my opinion is the far better grappler, that is, compared to Brian Ortega. And yes, I do know Brian Ortega is a phenomenal Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu grappler. But Islam Makhachev is just different. I mean, as I said earlier, it's like he's wrestling quicksand. I mean, these guys were literally wrestling bears at a young age. So, in my opinion, I think Islam's going to have the upper hand and going to be the best grappler that he's ever won up against. So, it's going to definitely be interesting. But I do have Islam winning this fight, probably an unanimous decision just because Alexander Volkanovski does have so much fight in him. But again, we're in for a dogfight.
Yeah, 100%. The implications of the fight are huge. Obviously, Volk going for double champ status, one of the few athletes in UFC to do it. And if he wins over a champion like Islam Makhachev, it's going to be interesting to see where that puts him in terms of the greatest of all time conversation. What he's done at featherweight is obviously one of the best featherweights of all time. If he can beat Islam here, not only we have to question where he ranks in that, but also we have to question his next opponent. Who's next in the 155 division? Obviously, it's a shark tank of a division. Everyone in there is phenomenal. So just crazy implications going forward.
Hey, I mean, Volk even said after his last fight that he even has some wins at welterweight. So who knows, maybe a triple champ. I mean, I'm not sure if you saw a picture of him. Maybe I can put it in here. If not, my bad. But when he was a rugby player, the dude was like 205 and thick. So he's pretty versatile at all weight classes. It's going to be interesting what he does if he does beat Islam. But again, I don't see him winning that fight. But it's going to be a great one. That's all I have for this episode, though, man. Do you have anything else?
Just really excited for the fights. I think Volkanovski's going to come out and win it. That's all I got to say. That's all I want to happen.
We'll see who's right on Monday. See you guys next time. Thank you for watching the 2-minute warning. Make sure to follow us at The Arrow on Instagram and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.